Hey everybody, how's it going? Before I begin, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. And don't worry, there's a van in front of me just pressed his button and it flashes and beeps. So give me a little bit of extra light. In this dim lit, only about 4:30 afternoon on a November, so this is kind of the light that I'm going to get at these times lately. Let me just remove my hand a little bit, there we go. I want to continue on a little bit from sort of last week, talking about when I had my first and only, I should add, work-based Linux laptop for development. And I do some development. I've got my own Linux laptop that I created. I installed, because basically it was Windows. I thought, I'm not having that. I'm going to shove Linux on there, and I've put Mint on there. I'd Ubuntu on my previous one, put Mint on this one. So I thought I'd try a bit of difference. But I want to talk about how easy it was, the integration in Ubuntu and even in Mint, because in Ubuntu, the work laptop, the company that I work for, it was all sort of Java based development, Spring Boot, and a few other bits, all kind of based on Java and Java libraries. And there we go, nice orange flash again from the indicators above in front. But it surprised me, having previously worked with Unix quite a lot and sort of used things like Emacs and Vi for my editing tool, and then GCC for compiling my C++, because it was all C++ back then. It surprised me how easy it was actually now to use a tool like IntelliJ, just from the software tool that was there installed. On my home Linux workstation, the previous one, I had a subscription to IntelliJ, and that ended, I think it was a version around 2021 maybe. And so if you've got the latest version, you can do it from the software shop or tool or whatever it is it's called on Ubuntu. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you have an older version, you can't. You have to use the tool, manually. You have to use the download to do it, and it's a little bit more, I would say, not so difficult, but if you do it from the actual software shop, as it were, the tool, you get the nice UI. You just double click it, runs, all that kind of stuff. If you from the download, at least the one I downloaded, you have to actually run it from command line, so it's a little bit different, and maybe not so easy for someone that isn't used to running stuff from command line. But if you have the latest version, double click it, it all boots it up, integrated really easy. Code, I'm using Visual Studio Code. I think in some cases you do get it from the software download tools that come with Linux, or you can, again, like a lot of things, just download the relevant version for your Linux. For example, Mint is a derivative of Ubuntu, which is a derivative of Debian, so I just look for the Debian version if there's not Ubuntu or Mint. And it installs really easy, and then you just double click it and run it. And then once it's there, because I don't use IntelliJ, now I use code for most of my stuff, because I'm not doing Java development at the moment. Any C#, PHP, Ansible, Terraform, wherever. But anyway, you just install it, run it, really easy, integrates very well. It's just as easy as doing, say, Windows. And the compilers, you just, if you can either same sort of thing, look in the software tools that download it for you, go on, get the Debian version from a web page, or within code, you can obviously install a lot of the add-ons, and you just do it from there. So yeah, it's for those who have never tried something like Linux, like the loose version of Linux, it's really easy. It's as easy as doing it with Windows and Mac OS. But I find Linux, like most Unixes, is a lot more stable. I've had issues with Windows stability, not so much these days, but in the past. So yeah, it's always been more stable. But I think what I'm trying to get at is it's really easy to start running as a developer developing within Linux, as I say, I run code, which I install very easily. That has links into Copilot, like the Windows version. You can ask it questions from within the tool, and you wouldn't know once you're running code what operating system you're running from, because you're in code using that interface is exactly the same, interface exactly the same. Yeah, okay, the file structure where it saves might be slightly different, because obviously the way it uses the drive is slightly different, but you wouldn't know that, because you just save to your workspace and then you just go to your file icon, open your files, and it's already in your workspace anyway. So yeah, really simple. And if you didn't want to go down the lines of, oh, you know what, I'm going to create a Linux partition or a Linux machine, you can use WSL. Run WSL on your Windows, install Ubuntu. Although you don't get the UI, you can still use UI tools. Like, for example, you can either install code through the Ubuntu in WSL, or you can have code installed on your Windows laptop and then link it into WSL, because you can do that as well. So yeah, there's really, really versatile ways to play around with Linux development. At the moment, my laptop at work has Windows, forced to use Windows, but I generally run either in my, less so now, but in my MSA workspace, AWS workspace, and I spend more time actually running Ubuntu and WSL, and then just using my code in there, and then running the command line for like Git and stuff from there. So it's really simple. But yeah, if you've not tried Linux and you want to, then it's simple to install. As a developer, simple to install the tools. And I'll probably try and do more videos. I went to try and create one the other day showing a game with an Ubuntu, and I may do those when I randomly get the chance, if I can get OSB to work with my dual setup, because I have a 4K monitor on my laptop and an ultra wide. Sometimes it gets a bit funny, so I have to kind of, and that's the game, not OBS, by the way. It's a game going funny, but it doesn't understand the resolution, I think. But yeah, so I might try and do more of those in the future. But I just want to talk more about Linux, because I enjoy Linux, and I don't get the opportunity to do it so much. Maybe I'll share my WordPress app development I'm doing at the moment with the aid of Copilot, because I'm not a big PHP developer. I can just about get along with it, but Copilot helps. So yeah, anyway, enough said. I've waffled on for far too long this week. But yeah, if you do enjoy talking about Linux, then why not share in a comment? Because I always have enjoyed, love even Linux. I use Windows. I used to use Windows mainly for the game, but as I game less now, I find Linux is far more usable for me than the Windows. So yeah. What about you? You feel the same? Have you watched this all the way to the end now, 8 minutes or something? If so, why not share a comment below? Right then, I'm going to go now. Speak to you next week. Bye for now.